War is peace. Freedom is slavery. Ignorance is strength. That is from 1984 by George Orwell. Do you really want to know what's going on? Come listen to The Views Express, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, only on the Liberty and Freedom Network.
Samo Radio, playing music for free so you can listen longer. Samo.
It's the 5 o'clock drive with Samo.
Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. till 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
What's on your mind? Chances are it's on their mind too. Check out Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show. Friday evenings at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. Only on Spreaker.com. Hey folks, how you doing? This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce for the Wayne S. Pierce Show. This is a podcast. I'm not going to be long, probably 20 minutes, half hour, something like that. I got a lot to get into. But first and foremost, I want to talk about our own personal, what we call our personal space. Now, what is that personal space? What is it? I mean, the last time I checked, we have a personal space. We have this imaginary line that people cannot cross, right? I mean, is this true? I mean, do people have this? Is this something that is part of who we are? Why is that? Well, that's kind of an interesting little tidbit of information there, as far as, from my perspective, is the fact that nobody wants to be pulled, pushed, manhandled, manipulated in any way, shape, or form because they feel that what they do for themselves and what they believe for themselves is right. And I totally agree with that. Problem number one, others don't believe that. So they're going to do everything they can to manipulate you, push you, pull you, whatever. This is why there's so many lawsuits out there for, against photographers and cake bakers and all this, because nobody really gives a crap about your own personal space. So you as a business owner says, well, I choose not to, serve these people. Anybody for that matter. I choose not to serve these teenagers that have their pants down around their butts and, they're almost falling off. And if a big wind came up and they just dropped to the ground, I prefer not to, I choose not to serve them. I choose not to serve, other people as well. But that's our choice because that's part of our environment that we grew up in, and it is what we are. We have that choice. We have that freedom to do that, do we not? Okay? There's a 1 in 10 rule that I learned in marketing, and that basically is for every one person that does not buy something, there's 10 other people that will, or the other way around. And I found out, by the way, my own research, my own personal perspective, and my own observational data, and my research has proven that, well, for every 10 people, one person will buy. For every one person that doesn't, 9 people will buy, or whatever, From my own personal research, I found out that at least out of 10 people, 3 people will at least consider buying or will buy at a price lower because, whatever the asking price is, because of their own personal understanding of their own finances. It has nothing to do with how many salespeople come up in your face and ask if they can help. It has everything to do with your personal wallet that you carry and your bank account. Nobody wants to be, having this deal and that deal shoved in their face and manipulated in a way that's going to, they want you to, buy something because, and they're going to do everything to smooze you because to kiss your butt to get you to buy that item or whatever, because they want it sold and they want to get their commission if they work on commission. Basically, I said all that to make this. I referred to all that to make this point. There are people out there that really don't give a crap about your personal space, your personal policies, the sign that should be on your wall that says we have the right to refuse service to everybody. They don't care about that. They don't give a crap about what your personal space and beliefs are, because they're going to do everything they can to push you into a corner to take advantage or to get you to give them whatever they want, and they're going to take advantage of that. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. These types of people are truly sociopathic because they don't give a crap. They don't have any empathy for the businessman. They don't have empathy for the neighbor next door. They don't have anything. They just want what they want, and they're going to get it no matter what. And they're going to sue you if you don't give them what they want. And if you have a policy that says, I prefer not to, for instance, that photographer says, no, she doesn't condone gay marriage and she doesn't want it. She's not going to do it. So the people sued her to make her do it. The cake decorator, same thing. What? So you're going to force me to give you something I choose not to give you. You're an idiot. You're just outright idiot. I'm sorry. What law tells me that I have to give you anything or that I have to give up my freedom of choice? You're a freaking idiot. Go away. That's the way I look at it, because my personal space is invaded by something that I don't believe in. And that is going to infringe upon my right to choose what is best for me. So why don't you politically correct bullcrap people, you sociopaths, pack your bags, go find an island somewhere, and just go live out your life. Because you serve no purpose to anybody except your own greedy, narcissistic self. Bye-bye. Have a nice trip. Get the hell out of the country. You don't deserve to be here. Now, I say that and I mean that. And I make no apologies for that. But the other side of that coin, and I know people are going to say this, the other side of that coin is this. Hang on. It's this. And it's real simple. Other people are going to say, well, people have a choice. And if they come to you because you're a reputable business and they believe that you're going to be, very good to them, and you turn them away, well, you're going to lose their business, and their word of mouth is going to cause you to lose business. No, it's not. Believe me. If they think they can go and turn around and ruin my business, Have you seen what happens when negative criticism and negative reviews happen to any business whatsoever, or any particular thing, or let's say a CD of a music artist? Prime example, Paula Deen, 25 years ago, used the N-word, big deal, I forgive her, she's a sweet lady, hello, I wish her all the best and success in the world. But somebody went, 25 years ago, she said this. That was 25 years ago, idiot. So what happens? The Food Network takes her off, pulls her show, and the dummies at the Food Network didn't get it through their thick freaking corporate mindset that the more negative criticism she got, the more stuff she sold and the more money they would make. They're stupid. Okay, that's a prime example. Now, do you take the negative criticism and reap the rewards on everybody's going, wow, that must be let's go over there and check this out. Very popular show host gets reamed for something she said 25 years ago, and now she's getting back on TV somewhere, I heard. But point being, for anybody that criticizes me for something they don't understand is the dumbest person on the face of the planet, because all they have to do is smarten up just a second and ask me questions, and I'm more than happy to tell you anything you want to know. So as far as invading my personal space to try to manipulate me, to cross that line, to manipulate me and push me to give up my rights to you and to give you power over me, ain't gonna happen, Jack. You don't know me. And the best part about that is, you don't need to know me. If you have a question, I will answer it to the best of my ability. If I don't know, I will tell you I don't know. I tell people that all the time. Email me, ask me anything you like. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. But you cross my personal space to try to manipulate me, or if I go do something and you say, oh, you're not supposed to be here. Get away from here. Excuse me, I have questions. And you will answer them. And if you don't answer them, I'm going to assume you don't know. But I'm not going to go away. I will step away over here. I will walk over here if you direct me over here and all of that. And that's fine. I don't mind that. But to just get right up in my face when I come to ask a question and to say, yeah, go away, go away. Excuse me, I'm going to ask you. And if you're courteous enough and want me to move over here to the right, to the left, move back a few feet, and then you'll, answer the questions, I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. But don't get up in my face, because I will make sure you understand who it is I am. Mama didn't raise no fool. Daddy taught me how to take care of myself, and my brother, I sure as hell would help him out as much as I possibly could, because he did the same for me growing up. So ain't nobody got a right to tell me anything to do and cross that line into my personal space to try to manipulate me in a way that they want to take advantage of. I said all that to make this point, and I know I ranted on that for 13 minutes already, or 10 minutes. Here's the bottom line. The factual, actual bottom line from me right here to you. I have a freedom to choose. What I decide in my life is best for me. If I have a business and I choose not to work with someone or produce something for someone or whatever it may be, that is my choice. I have that freedom to do so. Would I go and use that freedom of choice to say, well, I don't want to work with this person. I don't want to deal with that person. I don't want to have, I don't want to produce for this person. Honestly and logically, if my business depended upon their patronage, I would have to think very carefully. But then it would always take me back to for every 10 people that don't buy, or for every 10 people there are, 9 people won't buy, 1 will, or 1 won't buy and 9 will. It goes back to that. Is it money? No, it's not. Because basically you're operating your businesses on a principle that you decide and choose is right for you. Nobody else has to like it. Nobody else has to agree with it. And, people are going to disagree with it. They're going to cross your line. They're going to cross your line and manipulate you into doing things they want done. And they're going to twist your arm to try to get you to do it. And they may sue you, take you to court. What happened to the power of choice? This is my whole, concept of this rant. What happened to the power of choice? We no longer live in the United States of America. We live in a North American Union with a fascist president, a dictator, Marxist philosophy, spending 20 years in a church with a separatist, preaching his freaking nonsense, and now we wind up with no choice? There's something drastically wrong here, people. Something drastically wrong. Drastically wrong. And we have to really pay attention to what's going on around us. We have to pay attention as to how, number one, how we decide for ourselves what we're going to do. Do we walk on eggshells and say, well, if I do that, I'm going to piss that person off? Or if I do this, I'm not going to make that person happy? Or if I do that, that group of people aren't going to be... Do we walk on eggshells? No. We do what is best and what we believe is right through common sense and logic for us. How do we do that? It's that power and that freedom of choice. We have that. Okay? We have that. And if people cannot realize any of that and understand any of that, they got to go back to school. Seriously. What is reality? The foundation of reality is based on many concepts. Each person perceives reality differently. In the book, The Grid by Marie D. Jones and Larry Flaxman, they explore the hidden infrastructure of reality. Get your copy today at Barnes & Noble and Amazon.com. The Grid by Marie D. Jones and Larry Flaxman. Hey, folks, this is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast for the 27th of February, 2014. How y'all doing? Sorry, a little something there. So yeah, I talked to the first segment was about personal choice and freedom of choice, the personal space and the freedom of choice that we have within ourselves and within what we do, our business and all of that. My question was, do we have that anymore? Do we have the freedom of choice anymore? So email me at freeamericaradio at unseen.is, freeamericaradio at unseen.is. Or Wayne S. Pierce Show at USA.com. So many things are going on in our world today, and so many people are being sued for the stupidest things. Let me direct your attention to... I want to say this because I saw this earlier. And I had to laugh just a little, had to chuckle, had a little something going on just in my brain. It just kind of, sat there and I went, that is not, it's funny, but it's serious all at the same time. And it's important for us to know. It's important for us to know that that we do have a freedom of choice. We do have a freedom of choice. There is no... I cannot tell you how many times I have had people tell me that I don't have a choice. Excuse me? I do have a choice. And that's the greatest thing about living in a free society, is that I have a God-given right to choose what is best for me. Now, I can't find the article that I laughed at earlier this morning, today, but I do have this, and this is very serious, so I'm not going to laugh at this one, even though this is the stupidest thing on the face of the planet, and this is what's happening in your city as well. 21stCenturyWire.com. Watch U.S. cops run away when anarchy ensues on our streets. You might think that's funny. Think about this. The militarization of U.S. police forces is a disturbing trend for sure, but will the MRAPs pull up when your neighborhood is burning? Fat chance. Ineffective. Police are becoming a joke in some parts of America and often flex their muscles in the wrong place at the wrong time. Yet, when Americans really need law and order in their communities, the police are sometimes nowhere to be found and can also be seen fleeing the scene in an interest of their own safety first. They tend to reserve their impressive show of force for trivial incidents like raids on medical marijuana depositories or closing down organic farms. Below are a selection of graphic displays of what you can count on from law enforcement when it really is the I don't know what it cannelloni, there we go. The cannelloni hits the fan. Given their traditional role as peace officers, it's pretty shocking to see how the police no longer function in cities like Oakland, California. So I'm going to put this up on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page. So you might want to check that out as well, because the question is, see, I'm talking about personal space. This kind of relates to it, because now police officers they're not going in, oh, there's a big riot in the neighborhood. Oh, we got to go in there and take care of it. Let's bring the MRAP in there. Let's bring whatever. They're not going to do that. No. If your neighbor, here's more appropriate use of militarized law enforcement. If your neighbor sees that you're growing marijuana or understands that you're growing marijuana for your own personal use, which you can do up to a certain ounce of marijuana, you can do that, even though there's certain state laws that say no. But if your neighbor hears you, sees you, understands that you're doing this, oh my God, you're going to have the SWAT team on you. You're going to have people coming into your windows. They're going to be breaking down your door because you're just a little guy with nothing. You're a Joe Schmo working every day, and you got a problem that marijuana, that cannabis takes care of and can really help you, with all of that. Oh no, you're not on the system's drug plan. You're not on Obamacare. They can take care of you better than that thing can. Really? And the SWAT team's going to come in and take you out. Oh, you've heard stories. Oh, by the way. Your mainstream media, your local media, I don't care what it is, your state-run media, your corporate whore media, I don't care what it is. They're lying to you through their teeth. They don't care. They can care less. They absolutely do not care about truth, facts, or reality, only what they are told to give you. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier. I emailed I didn't even email, I posted it up on my friend's site, about the Muslims in Michigan wanting to patrol the city streets under Sharia law. Now again, personal space. Every citizen in Michigan, whether they're whatever religious denomination they belong to, whether they're Asian or Mexican or white or black or whatever, each and every person has a freedom of choice to do what they do, to live how they live, to better themselves in ways that they believe is right. Right? So far, we're on the same page, I hope. But no. The Muslims in Michigan, which is Dearborn, Michigan, the biggest Middle Eastern population outside of the Middle East, in America. No. They want to patrol the streets and force people, you and I, to succumb to Sharia law and not the Constitution of the United States of America. So I posted that, and my friend said it wasn't on the news. That would have been all over the place. Really? No, it wouldn't have. It wouldn't have. They're not going to tell you anything like that. They're not going to go down, the reporters in those local media outlets, they're not going to go down and ask questions. They're not going to go see this. They're not. Did it happen? I don't know. But the headline read that it did. So if anybody in Michigan up there knows about this story, please clear it up for me, because I'm still looking for information to verify the validity of this story. I still haven't found anything yet. Okay? So again, personal space. You've got a gang of, yes, I said it correctly, a gang of people going out into the streets wanting the state of Michigan to accept or to condone their actions and to legitimize their Muslim religious patrols on the streets, much like they do in the Middle East. Now, here's the other part of that, too, that deals with personal space. What if, now, like I said, I'm still trying to vet this information. What if this is true? That means that every person in Michigan, in that area that they're in, is in dire straits. They are in a dire situation that requires them to take care of themselves and protect themselves by any means necessary. Why? Because the federal government, especially in Michigan, from what I understand, does not recognize Sharia law as being constitutional. Okay? They don't. I believe in Dearborn, Michigan, they do, but not the whole state of Michigan. Now, here's the other thing. Again, dealing with personal space. If this is not true, then why would the media say it was? Why would the media say it was? Here it is. whizbangblog.com. Muslims demanding their own Sharia patrols in Michigan. And just a little tech note for you. If you're listening and you hear me cutting out every so often, it's because I've got multiple tabs open on the browser. whizbangblog.com. During the public comment time at the Dearborn City Council meeting, a Muslim stood to demand that the city institute Sharia patrols to keep young people out of parks and prevent the sale of quote-unquote offensive magazines in stores. See, they want to shut down freedom of press, freedom of speech. They want to shut down freedom of expression. Continuing, the man named Hassan took his place in line during the public comments, and when it was his turn to speak, he prefaced his comments with a loud chanting of Islamic prayers. He then went on to demand that the city begin patrols of the parks because people use them for quote-unquote sexual activities. This is one man demanding the Dearborn City Council do this. The Muslim, continuing here, the Muslim would not tell the council where he lived, claiming he feared the safety of his family, but said he lived near Westland. As reported, quote, Hassan also stated that there were magazines and newspapers at the public libraries and city civic center that can, quote, cause colossal damage to a child's health, unquote, asking the city to review, monitor literature before they are distributed, unquote. That right there is straight out of George Orwell's 1984. And Fahrenheit 451, Ray Bradbury. Straight out of it. And this is what the Muslim community wants. Sharia law over the Constitution, and that's just the way it is. And again, invading your personal space, manipulating you, and twisting your arm to get you to do what they want. Piss on them! Yes, you heard me right. I got a constitutional right to say whatever I want and to express myself in any way I want. And if you damn freaking Muslims want to get up in my face and tell me that I don't have a right to do that, you're going to be met with some very, very defensive force. Don't mess with America. Yeah, this has got me so riled up that I want to go to Dearborn and turn it into glass. But I won't. It's out of frustration that I say the things that I do. It's out of just being totally manipulated by the media to believe what they want us to believe. This is why the Free America Radio Network shares the truth with the facts. And I'm giving you what they are saying at whizbangblog.com. Continuing. So, Mr. Hassan wants Sharia-compliant patrols to prevent people from using parks, and he wants the city to perpetrate Sharia-compliant censorship at libraries. Fortunately, the city council shot down Hassan's demands this time. But this is how we begin to lose our nation to invading Islam, just as it has happened in Europe, Britain, and elsewhere. Muslims use their own system against us, using democracy to destroy democracy. First, they have a few people complain at a public meeting. Next, they have a dozen. Then they shame the government to concede in a few demands. Next, they demand more, and government gives them more. Then they are allowed their own enclaves, where they have full power and can ignore the rule of law. This has happened in Britain. Then they branch out from their enclaves and begin to force other areas to observe their medieval rule. Be aware of this, America. Sharia is coming in these Muslims, if these Muslims have anything to say over it at all. Sharia is coming if these Muslims have any say at all over it. Sharia is an American, anti-democratic, anathema to freedom and liberty, and it must be stopped. Now, the writer of this article, named Warner Todd Houston, is a Chicago-based freelance writer, has been writing opinion editorials and social criticism since early 2001, and is featured on many websites such as Andrew Breitbart's BigGovernment.com and BigJournalism.com, RightWingNews.com, CanadianFreePress.com, RightPundits.com, StopTheACLU.com, Human Events Magazine, among many, many others. Additionally, he has been a frequent guest on talk radio programs to discuss his opinion editorials and current events. He has also written several history magazines and appears in the new book Americans on Politics, Policy, and Pop Culture, which can be purchased on Amazon.com. He is also an owner and operator of Publius, Publius, forum.com. Feel free to contact him with any comments or questions. Email Warner Todd Houston, IGColonel, IGCOLONEL at hotmail.com. Quote, the only end of writing is to enable the reader better to enjoy life or better to endure it. Samuel Johnson. The comments here is, they're amazing. One commenter says, Sharia is un-American, anti-democratic, anathema to freedom and liberty, which is why the left supports it. Abso-frickin-lutely. One nut job at a city council meeting is enough to make Warner wet the bed. Really? That was another commenter saying that, and somebody commented to that, saying maybe if you crawl out from under your rock and took a look at what is actually happening in the world, you would know that, and he lists a whole bunch of stuff. Several lawmakers and officials of the Golden State, including Democratic U.S. Congresswoman Maxine Waters and Loretta Sanchez, Los Angeles Police Department Deputy Chief Michael Downing, and Los Angeles County Sheriff Lee Baca urged support for Sharia law. This is in California, folks. U.S. Rep. Keith Ellison, Democrat, has attacked the GOP for excluding support for Sharia law in their party platform. Democrats in Florida have been working to advance Sharia law and have worked to defeat laws that would bar Sharia law from our court system. Even the Obama administration has worked to promote Sharia law as soft-pedaled the anti-woman, anti-gay, anti-any religion but Islam fascist nature of Sharia. And the commenter continues on here and says, so yeah, I'm not going to give the name. This is about just one city council meeting in Michigan. Stop being a leftist stooge. People know more than you do because they aren't spending so much time drinking the lefty Kool-Aid. And somebody else said that what I just read, the person was a lunatic. Do you even read the links you post? This is what they said. And one of the things, sorry for the silence, one of the things it said here, references to Kool-Aid are hilarious from someone who cites weasel zippers, politics, I don't know, and the nuttier than fruitcake creeping Sharia as unimpeachable authorities, especially when the links supplied are such transparent, hallucinatory horse crap. Yeah, now these two are just going back and forth. Other people are interjecting their views, blah, 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 that kind of thing. It's all about how much bullcrap do I have to step in to realize it's all bullcrap. Okay, first of all, let me clear something up. And I'm going more than a half hour, so I'm going to go my usual hour and say this. Let me just bottom line it for you, and then I'll go to break here. The far left liberal loons and the far right, crackpots, I'm talking far right, far left, everything, all of it, right up to the middle. The politicians that are in those groups, that support those groups, that are supported by those groups, are paid off by the same people. The people that funded Barack Obama's second-term campaign in 2012 are the same people that supported Mitt Romney, are the same people that funded Mitt Romney. Now, a lot of people would say, no, that's not right. Yes, go connect the dots. I'm not going to give you the silver platter answer. You go connect the dots. And if I'm wrong, I'll tell you I'm wrong. No big deal. The bottom line is that we no longer have a left-right political structure in this country as it was prior to 1871. We don't have that anymore. It's gone. We have one party, one source, one control, and that would be who's controlling Washington, D.C. at this point. There's nothing that tells me that things have changed over the last 237 years, or should I say 150 years. I don't see anything that identifies any right or wrong in any of this. What I do see is a lot of bitching and complaining that one person cannot get their way over the other one, or one person is not going to allow this thing to happen because they believe, it's all headbutting. It's all big horn sheep headbutting. And whoever gets butted in the head hard enough and walks away and shakes their head and walks away and, they lose. I'm going to say it this way. First of all, if you're on the far left or the far right, you're both progressives. You're both being bought off by the same people. I understand that. So why don't you do every single voter a favor if you're in Congress right now? Resign, because we don't need you. Okay? We don't need you. Several congressmen have already said they've already resigned, or they already said they're not going to run in this current midterm election. They're out by 2016 or whatever. 2014 midterm elections. They're gone. They're walking away. And most of those people are Democrats. Now, again, granted, if you look in history, you cannot have one party rule it all. You cannot have one party do it all. There's just no way. You cannot have that. You can't. It's a detriment to the three branches of government, and it's a complete and utter destructive idealism for the liberties and freedoms in this country. You cannot have one party rule. It does not work. But this is what President Barack Obama wants. One party rule. And he's doing it. And he's pulling away and tearing away at your rights and just tearing them away, throwing them away. Because he doesn't care. He doesn't care. None of them care. Okay? None of them. That is why, and I've heard this over and over, and I'm beginning to believe it, not that it's wrong or right, but I'm beginning to understand why people say this, that Washington, D.C. needs to collapse. This whole country needs to be revamped. I agree with that policy. I agree with that sentiment that people have. Why? Because it has to be rebuilt by you and I, not by corporate pieces of crap that want to control Washington, D.C. It has to be controlled, it has to be built, it has to be governed by we the people, not by the corporate whores that are working for their bosses in the global elites. And we need to get all of these things that are detrimental to us and to our living out of our system. GMOs, fluoride in the water, all this. We need to get them out of our system. I was listening to Pat and Stu on the Blaze radio network and only listened to it for about a half hour. And they were mocking people who talked about GMOs, talked about fluoride in the water. One guy called in and did 3 minutes of just like, here's this, you got to read this book, here's this about GMOs, about Monsanto, about that, and guess what? He got them all in, but these two, now I have to agree though, I have to give them credit. Pat Gray over there, who's on, one of the hosts of Pat and Stu, him and their other person that they have there, Jeffy, they call him, they agreed that fluoride is a poison that needs to be taken out of the water. So, high five to them. Okay? But mostly, for like GMOs and all that, they're kind of, ha ha ha, Yeah, laugh about it. It's not funny. And when they invade your personal space, oh yeah, you'll think it's funny, all right? Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, you'll think it's funny when you're sitting behind a fence looking out going, what did I do? How did I get here? Oh yeah. Yeah, it's not going to be so funny when people literally are clamoring and clawing and purposely trying to get the truth. Myself and Nick Tucker over at distortedreality.podbean.com literally look at this stuff and examine these things and say, this little piece of information that I found about GMOs is important. I'm going to tell people about this. This little thing about FEMA camps, this big thing about FEMA camps is very important, and I'm going to tell people about it. And he'll agree because he's coming on The Views Express today at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. But he'll agree, too, that we have an opinion about these things, but our opinions are based on fact. Okay? We don't mock anybody who talks badly about this or anything. No. He has guests on his show. I'm looking at getting guests on my show. But the facts are the facts, and it's right there in front of you. It's not going anywhere. I mean, how can anybody say that none of this exists when it's right out there in front of you? When it's just staring you right in the face. How can you say it doesn't exist? It's right there. You know, I don't get it. I really, really don't. I don't get it. I don't, honestly. It's kind of difficult, but we got to do what we have to do. I mean, we have to take care of ourselves. We have to do what we have to do. And if that means we got to do it by any means necessary, that's exactly what we're going to do. By any means necessary. What is reality? The foundation of reality is based on many concepts. Each person perceives reality differently. In the book, The Grid by Marie D. Jones and Larry Flaxman, they explore the hidden infrastructure of reality. Get your copy today at Barnes & Noble and Amazon.com. The Grid by Marie D. Jones and Larry Flaxman. Listen to Crash Talk with your host, Christopher John Taylor, on HTLA973.com.
Misfit
Radio.
is a misfit.
Samo.
Ignorant of hygiene, destructive, disorderly, and totally disrespectful.
It's the 515 with Samo on Samo Radio.
AM 1700 Daytona Beach, Holly Hill.
And SouthNet 1.
Take the last train to Clarksville. See them moving run. He's leaving. On that midnight train to Georgia.
Sarasota's home for R&B and soul. The Razor Blade Express with Dave the Rave.
Hey folks, how you doing? This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. Welcome back. 27th of February 2014. How y'all doing today? You good? Are you good? Because, you know, hey, you gotta be good, man. It's one of those things, man. It's one of those things. Coming up on the Views Express Live today, we have a guest, Nick Tucker from Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook and distortedreality.podbean.com. And got a lot to talk about, man. We got a lot to talk about. And I'm telling you something. If you guys haven't heard distortedreality.podbean.com, oh, you're missing out. Hopefully at some point, maybe tomorrow, I'll have... I've got alternatives for tomorrow because I am going to have another guest, hopefully, on, and if that person is not able to come on, then I'll have somebody else on, and I'm sure he'll definitely be able to come on. But I'll tell you more about that on the Views Express Live at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com or on freeamericaradio.us. So there you go. Email me at the email address there on the website, freeamericaradio.us. Or you can email me with all of your information if you don't want anyone else to see it. Yeah. Free America Radio at unseen.is. Free America Radio at unseen.is. So what's the deal? Why have I taken 2 segments and ranted? Because I'm frustrated. Aren't you? I mean, here we are. We're living in America with a Constitution and a Bill of Rights which protects our God-given rights to protect ourselves and for the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And you've got a bunch of morons in Dearborn, Michigan that want Sharia law. No, bite me. Then you have these morons in the state of Connecticut saying, well, you got to register your guns. If not, we're going to come forcefully take them from you. Do they know history? Have they seen what happens when you try to force people to give up their guns? I mean, Connecticut, hello? Do you know what happens? Then you have people like the morons at FCC who pulled back a little ways when they said that they want monitors in newsrooms. Excuse me? That's straight out of 1984, people. The bottom line is, folks, is you've got one thing going for you, and you're losing it each and every day. And that's the Constitution and the Bill of Rights of the United States of America. And if you don't stand up for it, then, yeah, you'll be wiping your feet off at the FEMA camp near you. You know, I listen to Glenn Beck, and I listen to Alex Jones, and I listen to a bunch of other people. Pete Santilli. I listen to this whole slew of people. And you know, in the last several years, I've been following Glenn Beck from HLN over in CNN and Fox when he was over there. And now I, listen to him when I can, on Blaze Radio Network, and go to theblaze.com, check that out. And he's getting more and more and more open to seeing what the hell's going on, and he doesn't like it just as much as I don't. But because of certain things, I'm not going to say his sponsors, because he's got some very good sponsors, and I'm not going to say the network that he does have an agreement with, which is, I believe it's Premiere, I'm not sure. He says what he says, and he shows the evidence to prove what he's saying, but it's just not going far enough. Except for today, when I was hearing the Pat and Stu show, Pat Gray, who's one of the hosts on there, was talking to their producer, Jeffy, and they literally had said, yes, fluoride's a poison and needs to be taken out of the water. One woman called in, and I heard this, where she was saying, they were talking about Alzheimer's and all that, and the treatments that are, and the money that is spent on military, which should be spent on research for Alzheimer's and dementia. So this woman called in and said, have you thought about coconut oil? Well, they talked to her for a little bit, and then they hung up, and it was pretty much like, yeah, I've heard about that, but I don't know. And that's what I like, the honesty of hosts like that, saying, yeah, I heard about that, but I don't know. There needs to be more research in this. And 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 200 years from now, it might work. Today, we just don't know. I like that honesty. That's cool. And that's what I bring to Free America Radio Network. And the views expressed in this show, and that's what Nick Tucker brings, is the honesty of it all. If we don't know, we don't know. I say we, but I can't speak for Nick Tucker. I can only speak for myself. If I don't know, I don't know. But if I do know, I'm not going to give you the silver platter answer that you want. I'm going to give you a guide. I'm going to give you a website, a newspaper, a source, whatever, so that you can go with your freedom of choice in your own personal space to go and check it out yourself. That's what I do. Because I'm, I grew up with people not giving me the answer, and I had to figure it out. My mother, I love her to death, said 3 things other than I love you. She said, figure it out. So I did. I did it on my own in a way that I felt was best for me. And guess what? Dun-da-da! Because of all the work I did when I was younger, 7, 8, 9 years old, I was 3 or 4 grades ahead of everybody else in my class. And the teachers were asking me, how come you don't finish your stuff? I told them, I'm bored. Give me something else to learn. They're going, well, in your particular class, we can't do that. Really? I was in the 9th grade, and I was doing college-level English and math equivalent to being a senior in high school. So I don't want to hear that crap. You're going to give me what I need to progress a little bit farther down the line. And if I'm farther than you, hey, great, wonderful, fantastic. Give me something else I can learn. I told my counselor that in my high school. And she said, well, we don't have programs for, gifted people. We looked at your scores and you're quite high and, in your academics and everything, but we just don't have classes that accommodate for that. She didn't say those words exactly, but the information that she gave me was equivalent to that. A year after I graduated high school, they had a program there, because I knew people that were a year behind me. They had a program there called MGM, which was Mentally Gifted Minds. It's for those who were geniuses, basically. And I tap out right at genius level. Okay? So, and I'm not bragging, I'm just stating fact. I mean, I was far ahead of everybody in class, and they were coming to me going, well, I need the answer to this. Well, go figure it out. How did you figure out the problem beforehand? Well, I did this. Well, do that. Go figure it out. And they did. And it was like, well, but here we are, 30 some odd years later after I've graduated high school, with people that just want people to give them the answer. Well, the process to get to that answer is what you need to get the answer. And in that process, you learn. I did. I know others at my level did the same thing. Especially, and the stories that I could tell you about my elementary school principal when I was in kindergarten, wanting to hold me back because they thought that I wasn't able to learn, thought I had a disability or something. My mom went, you're full of BS, taught me valuable lessons at home during the summers, and that's how I became much more, able to handle the stuff in school. So there you go. Go figure it out. Walk out of your door once in a while. Go talk to people. Go walk around the mall. The greatest thing I did, one of the things that I did that helped me out a great deal, was going to our local mall in Stockton, California, at Weberstown Mall, and sitting there having lunch and watching people. You will learn a great deal just watching people. Okay? It's amazing what you get just watching people and their body language. And if you kind of, happen to overhear things that they say, you'd be amazed. Anyway, not bragging. I'm not doing any of that. I'm just stating fact. The Free America Radio Network needs your help to get to the next level. You can donate if you'd like. If not, no big deal. If you can do it, if you can help, great. If not, hey, that's okay too. Do what you can if you can. I'm not twisting your arm. I'm not getting in your personal space or telling you that you don't have a choice. I'm saying if you can and are able to, please donate to the Free America Radio Network so we can get to the next level. So thank you very much for that. If you have any questions, no question is off limits. Any question at all. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. Go from there. You can email me at if you're listening to this on the website at freeamericaradio.us, you can email me through that, or you can email me at freeamericaradio@unseen.is, freeamericaradio@unseen.is. And go check out Nick Tucker, distortedreality.podbean.com. I believe he has a show up. It might be a couple of weeks old, and I think he's having problems uploading a new show. But he'll be on The Views Expressed today at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com and also freeamericaradio.us. In the meantime, folks, go enjoy your Thursday. Hug your loved ones. Tell them you love them. Be there for them. And I'll see you on The Views Express live at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com.